Okay, hi, welcome to another episode of Photoshop Lightroom TV. I'm your host, Marek Mularczyk from sitetrain.co.uk, and that's another week and another episode of Photoshop Lightroom TV. This week, the episode of Photoshop Lightroom TV will be slightly different, because I'm going to start with a tutorial that's a bit more about technology than Photoshop or Lightroom, but it's connected with Photoshop and Lightroom. And a couple of weeks ago, I created a video about the Dell XPS 15 laptop, and I was comparing it with the HP Envy when I was looking for a new laptop. You can find this video on my blog, PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk. And today I want to say a bit more about this laptop, about Dell XPS 15, because I've been using it now for more than a month and I can tell you more about this laptop. And of course I'm using it for training, so this is related to Photoshop and Lightroom and other Adobe applications. So let's jump into this tutorial, and in just a moment we'll be back and I'll show you some more exciting tutorials. Loads of people were commenting on it on YouTube, and I put it on my blog as well, PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk. And well, people have different opinions, that's true, and these are two different laptops, and it depends what you're looking for, really. One of the things that people were saying is that, well, HP Envy does have a USB 3.0. Well, not sure about that. Well, the one I was talking about is HP Envy 14, first of all. Envy 17 does have USB 3.0, that's true. 14 doesn't, or at least it doesn't in the UK. Maybe it does in the US. In the UK, Envy 14 doesn't have USB 3.0. So one of the great features in Dell is that it's got USB 3.0. Actually, two USB 3.0 ports. There's one here on the side, on the left-hand side, and there's one on the back as well. Now, what about Dell? Let's focus on Dell. Well, I've been using it now for more than a month, and there's a couple of things that I'm not totally happy with. For example, well, the quality is great, the screen is great. I've got a full HD screen, so nothing to complain about, but I would complain about the graphics card. This one has the NVIDIA graphics card, and this new NVIDIA graphics card has the switchable graphics, so it switches automatically from the Intel built-in graphics card to the NVIDIA when you use loads of resources, when you use Photoshop, for example. Unfortunately, well, I run a training business, and I do loads of training with clients, and I connect to projectors and video splitters as well, for example. And the problem I'm having with this laptop is that when I connect to video splitter, so splitting the video signal to a number of monitors, I can't go any higher than 1024 by 768, so the resolution is really, really low. When I connect to just one monitor, it's fine, I can go to any screen resolution, but when I use the video splitter, which I use quite a lot, the resolution is really low, and this is a problem. I would have thought, well, maybe that's how it works, but I didn't have this problem with Dell Studio, the laptop I had before. Studio was fine, so that's, I'm guessing, it's just something with this graphics card. Studio used ATI cards, and I don't know why Dell moved from ATI to NVIDIA. There might be some reason for that. So this is the one thing I'm not really happy about. That. Another thing is, well, I'm missing these touch buttons on the keyboard that were in Studio. They're gone here in XPS now. Studio had a number of buttons that you could use to quickly change the volume or play or pause the music. They're gone. They're not here anymore. You can find them on F7, F8, F9 and so on, but they were so much more useful as separate buttons on the keyboard, because now I need to press function F8, F9 or 10. Of course I could change that, so I could just press F8, F9 and 10, but then if I wanted to use F10 or F9 or F8, for example, in Flash, I would need to use function key with that, so it's just a bit of a hassle. Regarding the chassis, the laptop itself, good chassis, aluminium, good quality, a bit more bulky than than Envy. That's true. Envy looks different, looks a bit better, of course, but depends what you're looking, really. So this is good, and well, generally it is a really good laptop, good built-in webcam, good connections, very good quality sound, JBL speakers, but then it depends if you're really using sound on your laptop. So generally, good laptop, but not exactly what I was expecting. If I were to buy a new laptop once again now, well, I wouldn't probably get the XPS. And when I get a new laptop, probably next year, I'm probably not going to buy Dell anymore. I will probably consider maybe HP or maybe something else, unless they create something really good. Is it worth its money? Well, it is, yes, because it is much cheaper than HP, so it has a good value for money. And it all comes down to what you use it for, how you use it, what do you require from the computer. So generally, good laptop, but not what I would expect from the high-end laptop, because this is the XPS range. Now this tutorial will be about tools in Photoshop. I'm not going to tell you about all the tools, what I do and so on, no. I'm going to show you how you can use a tool and save some of the settings of the tool as a preset. So here I am inside Adobe Photoshop, and I'm going to show you how to use the tools. Well, not just how to use the tools, but also how to set them some presets for the tools. Let's say I'm going to crop this image. So I'm going to grab the crop tool. You may need to click and hold to access the crop tool because it shares the same spot with slice tool and slice select tool. So I've got the crop tool here. And let's say I want to crop it to a certain size. So in the options bar, you can set the options here. So I can type in the width. Now make sure you remember about the units of measurements as well. So I'm going to crop it to 4:6. So for the width, I'll type in 6IN for 6 inch. For the height, I'll type in 4IN for 4 inch. And I can also type in the resolution. So let's say I'm going to print it, so I'll type in 300 for the resolution if I want to print it. And I'll just click and drag on the image to crop it to 4:6. I'll accept it in the options bar here. Okay, so I just zoom out. And I'm going to check the size and resolution, so the image size. And let's change that to inches. It is 4:6 inch and it's 300 dpi. Now let's say I'll do it quite a lot. So what you can do, so I can just cancel that, you can create a preset with your crop tool. So I'll click here where the tool is located in the options bar. I've got some presets you can see here. I'll click on this option here and then choose new tool preset. Then you give it a name, so I'll call it crop 4:6, and I'll just press OK. Now this option will be available here all the time. Okay? And you can create presets for all the tools you use in Photoshop, not just for the crop tool, for any tool you use in here. You can do the same with the rectangular marquee tool. Okay? There are no tool presets defined for this tool, but you could create them. Okay? So that's how you create presets for your tools and use them in Photoshop. Yeah, they will be here all the time. If I need to access another preset, I can go here. I can do, let's say, 150 by 100 pixels for Photoshop Lightroom TV. I'll just click on it and then click and drag on the image. Accept it here. And that's the, if I just zoom into 100% view, that's the 150 by 100 pixels image. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry for these noises here, but I'm just outdoors, and that's for this video for now. Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial in Photoshop on using tools and saving as presets. I'm creating presets for many things I do in Photoshop. For example, I've got some presets for crop tool, because I'm using certain settings for crop tool for my blog on PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk, also on the Photoshop Lightroom TV. So very useful tips and tricks. Okay, and that's for this week's episode of Photoshop Lightroom TV. I hope you enjoyed it, and make sure you stop by my blog, PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk. There's some loads of interesting tips, tricks, techniques, links to interesting tutorials or interesting posts. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Photoshop Lightroom TV. For more information, go to PhotoshopLightroomTV.com or blog PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk. You will also find me on Facebook and on Twitter. If you're looking for me on Facebook, look for Marek Mularczyk SAI Training, and you find me there. I'm showing loads of content every day, Monday to Friday. Come by, say hello, and otherwise I will see you next week on another episode of Photoshop Lightroom TV. This was episode 54, 55, 100 of Photoshop Lightroom TV. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if there's anything you want me to create or show in the episodes, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.